Unit 11 Job Interviews. This is a story about two men, Jimmy and Robert. Jimmy is tall and thin. Robert has long blonde hair. Unfortunately, both Jimmy and Robert are unemployed. One day, Jimmy gets an interview with Apple. Robert applies to Microsoft and gets an interview, and they both get interviews. When Jimmy interviews with Apple, he meets the interviewer and offers a lip handshake. A lip handshake is very weak, very soft. In fact, Robert interviews with Bill Gates. Bill Gates comes back to Microsoft to interview Robert. Robert gives a firm handshake to Bill Gates. Unfortunately, Robert gets drunk the night before the interview. Well, he feels hungover. He's hungover. To be hungover is to feel very tired and weak after being drunk. In fact, during the interview, Robert throws up onto Bill Gates. He threw up on Bill Gates, so he gets the job. Jimmy gives lip handshake at Apple, and then the interviewer scolds at him. Well, Jimmy goes home and he realizes he had a bad handshake, so he practices giving a firm handshake. Each day he practices his handshake. He practices giving a firm handshake, and she sends out resumes to companies. Robert also sends out resumes to big companies. Finally, Jimmy gets another interview, this time at Facebook. In fact, Jimmy interviews with Mark Zuckerberg. While Jimmy's body language is weak, actually, Jimmy's speaking is very good. Jimmy's a good speaker, but his non-verbal communication is bad. Next, Robert interviews at Virgin, the Virgin Company with Richard Branson. The night before the interview, he eats a bean burrito and show. During the interview, Robert farts. He farts loudly during the job interview with Richard Branson, so he doesn't get the job at Virgin. Jimmy, after his interview, goes home to practice more. This time, he practices his smile and his nonverbal communication. Jimmy develops a grinning smile. He also develops an air of confidence. Meanwhile, Robert realizes that he doesn't want a corporate job. He changes his mind, so instead he sends a series of letters to hair salons, places that cut, dye, or color hair. Finally, Robert gets an interview with a hair salon. Meanwhile, Jimmy gets an interview with the Gibson Guitar Company. During his interview at the Gibson Guitar Company, Jimmy has an air of confidence. He smiles his head up and he has a firm handshake. He shows the company his resume and portfolio. He communicates confidently. He does so well they offer him the job of president. Meanwhile, Robert goes to his interview at the hair salon. When the interviewer sees his beautiful long blonde hair, he says, "Wow, you have a fabulous," and Robert is hired immediately. They become happily employed.